Hey Glendale. So one of the most frequently asked questions is, how do I get my hair to grow? Everybody's always wondering, gee, how can I get my hair to grow? What products do I need to use? What do I need to do? So before we get into all the fun stuff about the products and what you can do, let's talk about how your hair grows. So hair grows in 3 different phases. You have the first phase, which is your growth phase, and that phase can last about 2 to 7 years. Then you have the second phase, which is your transition phase, and it typically lasts about 2 to 3 weeks. Finally, we have our resting phase, and that can last for about 3 months. The growth phase is where we see all of our hair growth. It can last anywhere from 2 to 7 years, anywhere in between 4, 5, 6. That just depends on you, your lifestyle, and if you have any disruptions to your hair's growth phase. Disruptions can be anything as far as an improper diet, hormone imbalance, overstyling, tension, illnesses, traumatic events, stress, anything of the sort. And that can disrupt your hair's growth phase and push it to its transition phase. The transition phase is when your hair stops growing and it detaches itself from the blood supply, and it becomes something called club hair, which is basically just hanging out there. So if you have your hair follicle and you have your hair strand, so it detaches itself from the blood supply, and then you have new hair coming up in the resting phase, and then that lasts about 2 to 3 months. So the best thing to do is to, I guess, eliminate the things if you can. I mean, we can't do anything about traumatic experiences or events, or we can't really do too much about stress, and sometimes we can't even do anything about medication. But as far as tension and improper diet, those are things that we can totally control. A lot of people wonder, do they have to take a hair vitamin, or do hair vitamins work? And I personally, I've had great experience with hair supplements, but we also have to understand that it's not anything magical. It's literally just putting the vitamins that you don't get in your diet into your body. So if you have like the perfect diet, fruits, vegetables, you're getting all of your daily servings of vitamin D, zinc, iron, B12, biotin, and everything out of your diet, then there's really no need for a supplement. However, if your diet lacks those vitamins, then a supplement can definitely help encourage hair growth. As far as tension, we want to be careful that we aren't constantly pulling or putting stress on our hair. If you're wearing braids are totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with wearing your hair in braids or ponytails or any style. It's when we consistently wear it and we don't allow our scalp to breathe, and we don't allow our hair to be free. That's when it starts to become a problem. Or if the style is super tight. Like, if it hurts, if you feel like your eyebrows are touching the back of your head, that's not okay. Your hair should never hurt. It should never be pulled. Constant pulling and tugging on those can damage the hair follicle, and then that's when you don't see hair grow back, or where you will have to speak with a dermatologist and talk about steroids, shots, injections, and all of that stuff to help try to stimulate your hair growth. If you are experiencing severe balding, shedding, or hair loss, I highly recommend you speak to your hairstylist or a dermatologist to figure out the underlying causes of your hair's concern. So one of the things that I want to talk about is your hair's retention, because sometimes it's not about your hair not growing, it's simply that you aren't retaining its length. And that has to do with it either breaking from tension, pulling, or overstyling, or simply just not keeping up with getting your ends clipped. You have to get your ends clipped. There's no way around it. Split ends, split up, and it just creates further damage. Now, the typical recommendation is every 6 to 8 weeks. You can stretch it, however, just know that whatever hair needs to be cut, it will be cut at that time. So you could prefer to see a little bit every 6 to 8 weeks, Or if you want to go 3 months or longer, then you're just going to see more hair being cut. So the 3 top things that I want you to take away from this video is to take care of yourself and stay healthy. So that ties in your diet, that ties in staying stress-free, as well as paying attention to our tension-free hairstyles.